But probably the biggest topic, other than that, was this damn Barbie movie. Has anybody? I'm curious if anybody in my audience has actually gone to see the Barbie movie. I did not. So I am curious to see if any of you have gone to see it. No, I have not. I haven't gone to see Oppenheimer either. The last, I don't see a lot of movies in theaters. Actually, Sound of Freedom was obviously the last one that I saw in theaters. But this whole Barbie movie thing too has kind of gotten interesting. So I've heard a little bit about it. I've heard that the movie itself could be it. Okay, so yeah, so it's interesting because I'll just actually, so what at the end of this story that I wrote on this, I pulled up what Lauren Chen from the Blaze actually said, and if you know, Lauren's been on the show. I did an interview with Lauren, one of my first guests a couple years ago. She said the Barbie movie literally has Ken trying to bring the patriarchy, explicitly called it the patriarchy, to Barbie Land and amend the Barbie Land Constitution to remove Barbies from position of power. That seems incredibly woke. Libby, so you guys know Libby, she was on here a couple weeks ago. She wrote a whole op-ed, like how she used to love Barbies. And then like to her mother's demise, like, but she loved them and her mother indulged her, and she went and saw the movie as anti-mother, basically promoting like the feminist values of you have to work and do all this, but it also saw Barbie being, alone in the end and all the stuff. So like I said, I didn't see it, but I'm just kind of very summarizing what Libby said. And honestly, I would recommend going to humanevents.com, and I think it's the top thing on Human Events right now, and reading Libby's piece, because it was pretty interesting. But I've seen multiple people on the right, especially, like, it's been kind of back and forth, right? So what I would say, and I've actually had people say they didn't know whether it was supposed to be, mocking wokeness or promoting it. Like, it was so, it was kind of like how we don't know what is a parody these days. Like, that's what this movie was. But as you see, I have pulled up my, Michigan Governor Whitmer, Gretchen Whitmer. If you know, I grew up in Michigan. I graduated from Central Michigan. Most of my family still lives in Michigan. I know a little bit about what's going on in Michigan, but this woman decided to have a photo shoot. And okay, the photo shoot, I'm not going to knock it too much. It was a good idea. Honestly, as a content creator, this is actually pretty good. But everything, like all the captions, everything with just who she is, it's cringe. It's very cringe. Okay. To do this. But like I said, as a content creator, this is actually, it wasn't too bad, but it was cringe to do the photo shoot at the Lansing Capitol, all this stuff. And again, just don't like Governor Whitmer, but it was kind of funny. The first thing said was her outside was a Barbie outside the Capitol that said, "Come on, Barbie, let's go govern." Yeah, she called herself Govenor Barbie, which is really weird. I had fun writing this article, so I was given some creative freedom to be a little bit witty. And so what Governor Barbie Whitmer means by govern is passing laws that would make it a felony to use the wrong pronouns for a person that they feel intimidated or threatened by. Because if you haven't seen, the Michigan House passed HB 447, which makes it a felony if you simply feel intimidated and threatened by, which would actually make it it could make it a felony if somebody misgenders you, because words are violence, remember? So if somebody misgenders you and you feel threatened, then that could be considered a felony in the state of Michigan if this law passes. And it's expected to, because unfortunately my home state has Democrats in both chambers and Whitmer. So like, don't tell me I froze again this week. I did freeze again this week. Okay. I think it's back. No, so, and so that's the way that it could be in the state of Michigan. Now, the next one was the real world can be tough. Why take it? Michiganders in Michigan, we're investing in every corner. The governor is trying to. Yeah, that's why I thought I was freezing. I'm trying not to. I don't know why. Like I have high speed internet and it works great, but for some reason I think I'm at the point where I need a new computer. So if you guys want to like super chat me and help me get a new computer, that would be great. So the governor is trying to send out rebate checks, $180 in rebate checks to prevent the income tax rate from dropping from 4.25 to 4.05, which was written into a 2015 law, and it and so if she has to spend so much money. Yeah, she has to spend so much money on so you don't it's not me, as you've been noticing on YouTube, people having issues. Well, and then it could be an issue with Streamyard, and that's what I use, is Streamyard, which I love Streamyard. They have a nice platform and everything like that, but it just seems to slow everything down. I still do think that I'm in need for a new Mac. I think my Mac is from 2015, and these things, they last for a long time, but I haven't been able to upgrade the software because I don't have any memory storage on it anymore. So that's where I'm at. But to go back to what I was saying is in 2015, the law, so they have to spend so much. If they break a certain cap on spending, then they don't have to drop down in income taxes received. But if they go under that, then they do. So they're trying to send out rebate checks, which is like one trip to the grocery store for some people on these rebate checks, whereas an income tax reduction would be a much better benefit to just about everybody, right? So she's not really looking out for the best in Michigan. She's just looking to not. Yes, that's my dog. And of course, she's barking in the stream. She wants to be heard. It is 2023, so she has a right to be heard, but we're trying to stream here. So that's what it is. Now, my favorite one, maybe one of the, oh my gosh, Courtney, thank you so much for this super sticker. That means so much to me. You don't even know. Thank you. One of the best things one of my favorite things I've ever written was this next line in here where, so Governor Whitmer said, when I first ran for governor, someone said to me, just promise me you'll show up as you are. Don't dim yourself because what other people think you are. I carried that message through with me, ups and downs. And then she said, together we work to create spaces and structures that empower women to show up as they are and allow them to lead from the front. And so I wrote, being the champion of women that Whitmer often has, Whitmer that she is. Whitmer has often taken the time to use the language that empowers all adult human females. Like when she referred to them as menstruating people when she was discussing Roe v. Wade. Here's the thing. It's always interesting when you see some of these leftists use the term women in certain situations when they can't even define the word. So when she has often referred to, women as menstruating people, I think she even said one time people that got a period, all these degrading language. I don't think she really has a right to say that she's building up people, women. She doesn't know how to even define it. It is interesting because, yeah, I could have wrote 1,000 more, 2,000 more words on this because there were 7 posts, and I would have gone through every single post if I had the time to go through every single post. I mean, during COVID, she was locking everything down. Yeah, menstruating people is probably the least favorable term. But during COVID, she locked down that state. It was interesting because I didn't go there when everything was completely locked down. But she was one of the governors that was caught like fleeing to Florida when Florida was open and she locked her state down. She was going to enjoy the openness of Florida while her state was locked down. When I got up there, though, it was, I think it was around 4th of July timeframe. I will tell you, like when Michigan opened, they opened. Like I remember Georgia was the first state that actually opened that, like South Dakota never closed down. But Georgia was like the first state that closed down for like less than a month, and we opened. We opened before Florida. Most people don't want to recognize that, but we did. And so when we opened back up, the businesses were kind of doing their thing. They were still kind of, at least in my area, there was a lot of business that were requiring masks and social distancing and all this stuff. Gosh, when I went up to Florida or when I went up to Michigan, everything was open. I literally took a yoga class when I was up in Michigan, and I was within arm's distance of the people on both sides of me. It was great, Yeah, I think this might be the worst one that came out this week. Last week is the term bonus hole. Like, where do they come up with these things? I swear that half these people are like controlled opposition, and I just don't know. Like, where do they come up with these things? I don't know. But yeah, I can't stand her. I actually sent this piece over to my dad, and he was like, God, I can't stand her. And so, yes. BlackRock. Okay, so yeah, this is, like I said, go here. You can read Libbys' article about the piece because it was really good. And if you haven't read Libbys' stuff, am I frozen again? God. No, this is my internet. I'm not getting a good connection. But if you've never really read like Libbys' stuff, go read it. She's a fantastic writer and fantastic storyteller. Even like this article, she brought everything together. It was she's a fantastic article, but that's also why she's my editor-in-chief. That's why she's the editor-in-chief of 2 publications. So she's just fantastic and she loves writing. So I swear, I'm not just saying that to get a raise. No, I'm joking. Let me see. Yeah, she had a lot to say about this, but she basically said the new Barbie movie is an anti-motherhood, man-hating tangle of daddy issues, posing as a tale of female empowerment. Yeah. So, Courtney, you said you're gonna go. So you're gonna go see Barbie before Oppenheimer. Okay, I see. I do like this. It's the man-hating tangle of daddy issues.